I want to ask you something that might make you a little uncomfortable. If you found out today that you had exactly 10 years left to live, not tomorrow, not next year, but 10 years, would you spend your retirement money differently? Most people I ask say yes, immediately, without hesitation. So here's the real question. Why are you waiting for that news to spend it differently? There's a book called Die with Zero by Bill Perkins, and it has been quietly changing the way thousands of retirees think about money. But most of the content about this book is just people summarizing it. That's not what this video is. In this video, I'm going to do what I did for 22 years as a fee-only financial planner. I'm going to take the theory and turn it into actual numbers, a real plan. Your plan, so that by the end, you know exactly what Die with Zero means for your specific retirement and whether it actually makes sense for you. Here's what I observed in 22 years of sitting across the table from retirees. The ones who worried the most about money were not the ones with the least. They were often the ones who had saved the most carefully their entire lives. They had done everything right. They lived below their means, they maxed their contributions, they were frugal, disciplined, responsible, and then retirement came and they couldn't spend. I'd ask them, "What do you want to do in retirement?" And they'd say, "Travel to Italy, help my grandkids with college, take my whole family on a cruise." And then I'd look at their finances and say, "You can absolutely do that." And they would look at me like I had said something dangerous, because for 35 years, spending money had felt like a threat to their security. And now, when it was finally time, their brain wouldn't let them do it. Does that sound familiar? If it does, you are not broken, you are not irresponsible, you are the product of 35 years of being told that spending is dangerous. Die with Zero is the first mainstream book that seriously challenges that programming, and it does it with math, not just philosophy. Why people are confused about this book. Before I get into the framework, I want to address the most common reaction people have to this book, because I see it in every comment section. People hear Die with Zero, and they assume it means spend recklessly, ignore your future, and hope for the best. That is not what the book says, not even close. What Bill Perkins actually argues is this. Most people in retirement are operating on a financial plan designed for the worst-case scenario, living to 95 with major healthcare expenses every year. So they underspend dramatically in their 60s and 70s, the years when they are healthiest, most mobile, and most capable of enjoying life. And then they die with money still in the account. Money that was supposed to fund a life, but instead sat in a brokerage account collecting interest while the person it belonged to missed the experiences they could have had. That's not being responsible, that's a tragedy. Now, as a financial planner, do I agree with everything in this book? No, and I'm going to tell you exactly where I push back. But the core argument, after 22 years of watching retirees make this exact mistake, I think Perkins is more right than wrong. The Die with Zero framework. Let me break down the 3 core ideas from Die with Zero that I think every retiree needs to understand. Concept 1. Your life energy has a shelf life. Perkins introduces something he calls life energy, your ability to physically and mentally enjoy experiences. And here's the uncomfortable truth. That energy peaks in your 60s and then declines. You can hike in Italy at 65 in a way you probably cannot at 82. You can play with your grandkids at 66 in a way your body may not allow at 79. This means the money you spend at 65 buys more real enjoyment than the same money spent at 80. The same dollar does not have the same value across your entire retirement. Early retirement dollars, when your health is good, are worth more in life experience than late retirement dollars. This is not a philosophy. This is math. Concept 2. Memory dividends. This is the concept that hit me hardest the first time I read it. Perkins argues that when you spend money on an experience, you don't just get the experience, you get a lifetime of memories from it. He calls these memory dividends. The trip to Italy in 2026 pays you back in joy every time you remember it for the next 20 years. Money dividends grow in an account. Memory dividends grow in your mind. Both are real. Most financial plans only count one of them. Concept 3. Giving early beats giving later. Most people plan to leave money to their children or grandchildren as an inheritance. Perkins asks, why wait until you're dead? If your daughter needs help with a down payment at 35, that $50,000 changes her life today. The same $50,000 left in a will at your death when she's 65 and financially established has far less impact. The money is the same. The timing changes everything. Okay, I promised I'd tell you where I push back on this book. And as a planner, I have two real concerns. Concern 1. Healthcare costs are not predictable. The biggest financial risk in retirement is not running out of money by spending too much. It's a catastrophic healthcare event that costs $200,000 to $400,000 over 2 to 3 years. Die with Zero doesn't adequately account for this. A long-term care event, dementia, a stroke, cancer treatment, can wipe out savings that seemed perfectly sized for a spending plan. My recommendation: before implementing any Die with Zero strategy, you need a healthcare floor. That means either a long-term care insurance policy, a dedicated healthcare reserve of $150,000 to $250,000, or both. You don't give yourself spending permission until that floor is built. Concern 2. Social Security timing still matters. Perkins is an investor with significant investment income. His Social Security decision is different from the decision facing someone whose SS check is their primary income. If you are dependent on Social Security, if that check is 60 to 80% of your monthly income, the claiming age decision needs careful analysis before you start spending down savings. Don't interpret spend more as claim SS at 62 to have more money now without running the full math. I've seen that mistake cost couples $200,000 over 20 years. Those are my two real concerns. With those caveats addressed, here's what the spending plan actually looks like. The practical spending plan. Here is how I would build a Die with Zero retirement spending plan for someone on Social Security, and I'm going to use real numbers so this is actually useful. Step 1. Identify your healthcare floor. Before any spending plan, this number must exist. For most people, that means a dedicated account, separate from your main retirement savings, with at least $150,000 earmarked specifically for healthcare. This is untouchable for anything else. Once that floor is funded, everything above it is available for the spending plan. You now have permission to plan the rest. Step 2. Calculate your guilt-free spending number. Here's how to calculate it. Take your total retirement assets, everything outside the healthcare floor. Let's say that's $420,000 in savings, plus a home worth $380,000 with $310,000 in equity. That's $730,000 in total non-healthcare wealth. Now, add the annuity value of your Social Security. If you receive $1,900 a month, which is $22,800 a year, divide by 0.04. That's $570,000 in annuity value. Total real wealth, $730,000 plus $570,000 equals $1,300,000. Now, divide by the number of years you're planning for. Perkins argues you should plan to age 90, not 95 or 100. If you're 65 now, that's 25 years. $1,300,000 divided by 25 years equals $52,000 per year in available wealth. Add your actual Social Security check, $22,800 a year, and your total annual spending capacity is $74,800. That is likely higher than what most people in Clara's audience are currently spending, and it's sustainable through age 90 with no portfolio growth assumed, which means with any investment return at all, you're even safer. Step 3. Assign your spending to life phases. Perkins divides retirement into 3 phases. Phase 1, ages 60 to 75, your go-go years. Health is good, energy is high. This is when experiences have the most value. Spend more in this phase. Phase 2, ages 75 to 85, your slow-go years. Less travel, more comfort, more local. Spending naturally decreases. Phase 3, ages 85 plus, your no-go years. Most spending is healthcare and housing. Experiences are limited by physical ability. The die with zero insight, most retirement plans distribute spending evenly across all 3 phases. But you can't enjoy a trip to Europe in Phase 3 the same way you can in Phase 1. Front-load the experiences to Phase 1. This is not reckless. This is rational. Let me tell you about a client I worked with in my planning practice. I'll call her Dorothy, not her real name. Dorothy was 68. She had $390,000 in savings, a paid-off home worth about $340,000, and Social Security of $1,750 a month. By any reasonable measure, she was financially secure. But Dorothy had not taken a real vacation in 6 years. She hadn't visited her daughter in Oregon in 3 years because she didn't want to waste the money on flights. She ate out maybe once a month. She bought clothes at Goodwill, not because she couldn't afford otherwise, but because spending felt wrong. When I ran her numbers, her sustainable annual spending, following the framework I just showed you, was $68,000 a year. She was spending $31,000. She was leaving $37,000 a year of her own money on the table every single year. I asked her, Dorothy, what would you do if I told you that you could spend $40,000 more this year and still be completely financially safe at 90? She started crying. Not sad crying, the other kind. She said, I'd go see my daughter. I'd take my grandkids to Disneyland. I'd finally fix the kitchen. I said, Dorothy, you've had the money to do all of that for years. She did all 3 within 6 months. Her daughter called me to thank me. She said it was the best year of her mother's life. Dorothy is the person Die with Zero is written for, not the reckless spender, the terrified saver who has earned the right to live but never gives themselves permission to. The Memory Dividend Action Plan. Here's how to apply the memory dividend concept practically. This is the action piece. The experience bucket list exercise. I want you to write down, right now, after this video, 3 categories of things. 1. Experiences you've always wanted to have but can't afford. 2. People you want to help financially while you're alive to see it matter. And 3. Things around your home that would significantly improve your daily quality of life. These 3 lists are your memory dividend portfolio. Now price each one. Actually, get on Google and find out what it costs to take that trip, make that gift, fix that kitchen. Write the number next to each item. Then look at your sustainable spending number, the one we calculated using the framework. Is there room? For most people watching this video, there is significantly more room than they thought. The annual memory dividend check. Once a year, on your birthday, your anniversary, whatever works, sit down and ask, did I invest enough in experiences and people this year, or did I leave memory dividends on the table? Before I close, I want to give you one more number. A 2021 study from Vanguard found that retirees on average spend only 56% of their retirement income in the first decade. That means 44 cents of every dollar they had available, they never spent. It sat in accounts, untouched. That money was supposed to fund a life, and in many cases, it outlived the people it belonged to. I spent 22 years helping people build retirement plans, and the mistake I watched most often was not spending too much, it was spending too little in the years when it would have mattered most. Die with Zero is not a reckless book. It's a correction. It's a push toward balance for people who have been so disciplined for so long that they forgot discipline was always supposed to be a tool, not a way of life. Here is your homework from this video. Do 3 things this week. 1. Calculate your sustainable annual spending number using the framework I showed you. Write it down. 2. Build your 3-category experience list. Price everything on it. 3. Identify one item on that list you can do in the next 90 days. Book it, pay for it, put it on the calendar. That is your first memory dividend investment. And then come back and tell me what it was in the comments. I read every single one. And honestly, those comments are the most joyful part of running this channel. I want to leave you with something I believe very deeply after 22 years of this work. Money is not the goal. Money is the vehicle. The goal is the life you use it to build, the people you help, the experiences you create, the memories that pay dividends for years after the moment is gone. You have worked for decades to build what you have. You've been careful, patient, and disciplined in ways most people are not. That is something to be genuinely proud of. But at some point, and for many of you watching this, that point is now, responsible stewardship means actually using what you built, not just protecting it. Die with zero does not mean die broke. It means die satisfied. It means die with the knowledge that the money you were given to steward in this life, you used it. You spent it on people you love, experiences that shaped you, and a quality of life you earned. That is not reckless. That is the whole point. If this video gave you even one new way to think about your retirement spending, please subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of conversation I have here every week. I'm Clara Morgan, and I will see you in the next one.